Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing? My name is Sunny Valencia, and I'd like to welcome you all to this chat here. Thank you for coming and joining us. This is going to be your fitness journey. TLU Alumni share health tips and advice. I would like to start by introducing myself. My name, like I said, is Sunny Valencia. I was a graduating class of 2012. I was one of the members of the women's soccer team. I actually played for 4.5 years, if you want to look at it like that. I had a ACL injury while I was in school. After graduating, I actually graduated with my degree in kinesiology, exercise science, and communications. Now I'm a project manager for a digital marketing company downtown San Antonio. I work out often now. I had a little stint where I lost my way. You know, Corona really got me, but we're really back at it now. I'd like to start by introducing the great people that are going to be speaking today as well. I'd like to start with Justin. Justin, please tell us about yourself.
So yeah, my name is Justin Nato. I graduated in 2014 from TLU with a Bachelor of Science in Athletic Training and Kinesiology Sports Management. And currently I am working as an athletic trainer out at basic training for Lackland for the Air Force. And I'm also coaching CrossFit at Elite CrossFit here on the North Central side in San Antonio off Redland Road. Personal training and also coaching some classes as well. I really have a strong really strong passion for health and fitness. Been doing it for about the last 5 years. So, I'm fully humbled to be a part of this and be speaking with you all today. So thank you guys for your time. I'm going to go ahead and kick it on over to Dr. Erica Short. Thank you again, Dr. Short and Mariella, for joining us today.
Hi, my name is Erica Short, and I actually teach at TLU in the kinesiology department. I have been there since 2012, and I actually came in as Dr. Dykey, and so got married 2.5 years ago, so I am now Dr. Short. And I love fitness and nutrition. I teach an exercise sport nutrition class and a variety of classes with health and nutrition that are involved in the classes. I started out as a personal trainer and did that for about 6 years, and then decided to come back to school and work with students and just really teach people how to be healthy and, not have that perfect body, but that's not the goal. The goal of how to have like a healthy life and a good quality of life. So that is definitely my passion. And I decided to ask one of my students, Mari, and so I'm going to put it over to her, and she's going to tell us about her. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Mariela Convario. I am a current student here at TLU. I'm a senior and I'm getting my kinesiology exercise science degree. I am also on the women's soccer team. I'm a peer mentor and I'm a part of the Black and Gold Presidents Club. I really aspire to become a physical therapist, but I'm hoping to also get a certification in personal training. So I do also like to talk about health and wellness, and I hope that what we have to share today is going to help some of you guys to start your journey.
Great.
Excellent. All righty. Well, without further ado, let's get on started. With that being the word to start with, where do we start? That is the question of where do we start when it comes to fitness? Justin, would you like to take a lead here?
Yeah, thanks, Sunny. One more thing I did want to note that I forgot to mention in the introductions is we want this to be as engaging as possible. We don't want this to just be an hour where we're just talking to hear ourselves talk. We also do welcome questions, and we highly encourage them. So feel free to place a message in the chat board. If you would like to talk offline, you can also email our Alumni Development and Relations email as well, or you can also send us personal messages on Facebook as well, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible. But please be as engaging as you possibly can. We highly welcome that. We want this to be a great experience for everyone. Now, when we talk about, where to start, I think the most important thing is starting with why. Why do you want to why do you have that goal that you really want to achieve? Is it for your family? Is it for your kids? It has to be an emotional attachment is what I'm trying to say. Is the reason being that you want to push yourselves because you want your kids, or you want someone who's close to you, or you want the people at work that you manage to also work hard, but you're doing that by setting the example. It has to be an intrinsic motivation, and it has to be something that is an emotional attachment, and you kind of have to dig deep into it. So like if it's you want to, you want to lose some body fat, why is that important to you? And keep asking that why. A lot of experience that I had as a personal trainer at Lifetime is really digging deep into the real root, because not only does that get you started, but that also can motivate you to stick around longer. So that's kind of where I start. I'm going to go ahead and push it on over to Dr. Short now. Go ahead and why don't you go ahead and share some of your expert advice as well?
Well, some of the things that I teach my students tell my students is to think about, if you only had one car for your entire life, how well would you take care of that car? If we always think, oh, when that car breaks down, I'll just get a new one. Well, with our body, we only get one body, and we want to think about how do we take care of that body so that it can last a long time. Because think about when your car breaks down, you're constantly going and getting it fixed, and you're constantly, having to take time to work on getting it done, and you can't go anywhere. If your car is broken down, then you're relying on other people. And I feel that's the way your body is because if you don't take care of yourself now, then it's going to start deteriorating a lot faster. You're going to have to start relying on people in regards to helping, take you to the doctor or take that time going to the doctor. And so I just really encourage you to think about making it to where it's something that you really want to do. You want to make it make a healthy body rather than I've got to do it so I can look better in these jeans or look better for summer. Those type of goals don't last very long. We don't stick with that. But if you really think about, I want to have a better quality of life, and I really want to think about, what do I need to put in my body to keep it the best that it can be? And then what do I need to do with my body in regards to exercise? And it doesn't have to be, a exercise plan where you run every day, just getting active and just trying to think about how to include activity in your everyday, when you're going to the grocery store, parking further behind, at the end of the parking lot. Also thinking about, talking on the phone, walk while you're doing that. And I think a lot of times too, when we're working at home, we stay more sedentary. So with all this going on, I think people have been a lot more sedentary. So you're having to get creative on getting more activity in your daily routine. So just trying to think about what that looks like for you, and standing, and, instead of sitting all day at your desk, maybe using a standing desk. And in regards to just setting those goals and thinking about what are your goals and how to stick with us. And so I'm going to have Madi talk about goals and in regards to how can we stick to those goals. What have you learned in school? What do you think about that?
What I have learned in multiple classes with Dr. Short is SMART goals. And so this is a goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So how we were talking about like where to start. So you've decided that, okay, I want to lose weight, but that's not a goal that is like measurable or even time-based. So if that is your goal, that is a great goal to have, but we can think, okay, let's say I want to lose 2 pounds, 2 pounds once a week, right? So there's one goal. Or you can say, I want to drink 10 glasses of water each day. Those are goals that are measurable and specific and even time-based. So this is what we mean by making these SMART goals. And I'd like to bring in a discussion about my mom, who's just recently started to get into her fitness journey, she has like decided finally that she wanted to make a difference in her life, and she started by doing these little changes. And this is where we also talk about progressively overloading. We want to make a start and then progressively start to do our different things. So not just going like deciding, okay, today I want to change my life and work out, and then go and kill yourself, and then you come home and you're so sore and you don't want to do it again. We really want to specify on long term, not acute.
Very good. And I want to add in about, a lot of times people have a goal of losing weight, so they go to these extreme fad diets. And I am not a fan of those extreme fad diets because number one, they don't last a long time. I mean, they're very temporary. Like Made said, it's something that people just do for a couple of weeks and then they can't stick with it. And so trying to find a pattern of healthy eating for you. And I encourage people maybe just finding one goal a week, not going too extreme, cleaning out the whole pantry and starting over, but maybe just cut out the Cokes. That could be step one. But we also have talked about too, in regards to when you're making goals, rather than saying, I can't, trying to think about what are some of the positive goals that you can make. And maybe that could be, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water every day, or I'm going to eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Because when we say that I can't, then it makes us to where we want it, we crave it, we like to rebel, and we want to have what we can't have. And sometimes we last a little bit long, with those diets, but then we go back to our normal eating. And a lot of times with those diets, they're very low calorie. And what happens with your body is when you don't eat, too many calories, or you get too low, your body starts craving that. And what it does is it slows down your metabolism, because your body's thinking, well, I better not burn all these extra calories. I've got to conserve what I have. And so it slows down that metabolism. Well, then you go back to your normal eating like you did before, and you gain that weight back. And a lot of times when you lose the weight also, it's muscle. And so you're gaining back more fat rather than that muscle that you've lost. And with the extreme dieting, with the yo-yo dieting, people lose a lot of weight. You're also losing muscle from your organs, like your heart, and throughout your body. And so you want to be careful, because that is really hard on your body when you think about it in regards to losing these major amounts of weight and then you gain it back. And so really trying to think about how to stick to healthy habits. So I encourage people to eat their fruits and vegetables, trying to think about getting lean meats, trying to cut out some of those sweets, those processed foods, and just really thinking about being healthy, rather than I can't have that, but what are some of the healthy foods that I can have in my diet? So Justin, do you have anything with experience in regards to people you've worked with in their diets?
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that. So my mom, one of my mom's coworkers, her and her husband did keto together. This was a few years back. And basically he went for his checkup to the doctor, and it showed that his cholesterol skyrocketed through the roof. So basically the whole purpose of a fad diet is, I get that question a lot of like, what's the best diet to start off with, or like, what's the best thing? Because really we've become so commercialized in the health and fitness industry that there's too much information out there. People have decision paralysis. People are always trying to wonder like, what's the exact thing that's going to help me get from A to Z. But the fact of the matter is, like, fad diets are not going to be the way to go. And a lot of times before you even do start one, if you still want to do it, I mean, more power to you, but make sure that you are consulting with a healthcare provider or a professional of some sorts to make sure that your body can withstand it, and your hormones can also withstand that as well, because not everything is a one size fits all. And I think that's what's the problem with modern day, all all of this information you get on social media, technology, everything that you get with your phones. I mean, everybody's always looking for the next best thing when it comes to diet, but really echoing a lot off of what you say, Dr. Short, about your fruits and vegetables, your lean meat, your hydration, not cutting things out. That's really the way that you want to go for long-term success, because again, like the title says, this is a journey. This isn't just an 8-week thing or a 1-month thing to focus on.
I also want to add in that I feel that the best way to really make sure that you're getting, all and calories that you need is by logging it and writing it down, looking at what you're eating. I would recommend using an app such as MyFitnessPal. Is something that I have used in the past, where I track what I'm eating, and it really is a useful tool to kind of see how many calories you're getting, and then also you can look at all the nutrients, and you can look at how carbs, fats, protein, because a lot of these fad diets, what they do is they cut out a lot of like your carbs. We have those keto diets, Atkins diets. You're totally cutting out carbs. Well, the problem is you're missing a lot of those nutrients, and so you want to make sure that you're getting enough in your diet with those nutrients. Otherwise, a lot of times you have to take supplements. And I always go back to saying, get it from your food rather than going with all the extra vitamins that people take these days. And so also just tracking it makes you think about what you're eating, because I think a lot of times we mindlessly eat and we don't really think about what we're putting in our body. So by tracking it, you're keeping that up to date. Now, I know some people get obsessed with it, so it shouldn't be something that you're, have to do every single calorie, but just to give you a kind of a guideline of how to eat and not to become so obsessed with it. Also, meal planning, because I think a lot of times we go in and we're starving and we don't make great choices. So by meal planning, you have it all planned out of how you're going to eat, and then times more so too. Because I think also with people working at home, they tend to, navigate or gravitate to the kitchen because they're bored and they want a break. So it's a lot easier to go and snack a lot more. So setting times of when you're going to eat, having meal plans, you figured out what you're going to eat, and just really making sure that you're not ever going into a meal starving, because we tend to overeat, and we also, tend to make bad choices. So trying to think about that in regards to how can you keep it for a long term, and how it can be something that you do on a regular basis and not feeling deprived. I know I've gone on a diet where I felt so deprived, but I could have almond butter. So I went to town on that almond butter and I gained 5 pounds. So it's something that you've got to think about. Like, you want to find recipes that are good, that you like, and that you're not feeling deprived with. So, and Madi, I know you were talking about your mother, and she was, going through this journey plan, of trying to get healthy. And what are some of the things that have worked for her?
Yeah, so something that I wanted to key in on is Justin and Dr. Short was saying how important it is to add those different foods into your diet. When we're saying that, we're not saying to go to your refrigerator and clean it out and put in all this new stuff, because honestly, it's not going to work that way. It has to be something that you progressively change. So something that helped with my mom is she started to substitute things. So instead of making her potatoes, she made these glazed carrots that she really enjoyed. And instead of going for the big bag of chips, she would, how we go to the pantry, we grab our chips and we're just snacking like this. Well, taking it out and putting it on your plate, so you're not just keep eating and stuff. And this really helped her, because we're saying in this discussion, we really want this to be long-term and something that you can easily transition into your life. And we have to also think about, if we have families to feed, we are changing their diet too. So it just needs to be progressive.
Very good. And I also want to add in how important exercise is too. I mean, it is something that, if you really want to stick to healthy eating, doing exercise also helps, because a lot of times when you're exercising, you want to eat healthy. It's a motivator to keep you going. But the problem sometimes occurs when people exercise. They think, oh, I exercise, I can eat whatever I want. And so I know it's something that you've got to think about. How many calories did I really burn when I exercise? Probably not as many as you think you really did. So really being careful on not just going crazy in how you eat when you exercise, but also trying to keep it to where you exercise. So don't blow it all by eating bad, and eating healthy and feeding that body so that you do have energy for that next workout. And I also want to think about going to the grocery store. I know this is something that, you kind of get overwhelmed with, what's on sale sometimes, and things pop out. And what I have found useful is an app on your phone that's called Fooducate. And so it's something that you can just scan different foods, that it will tell you what the rating is. So it will rate it as an A or a B or a C, and it will tell you why it's not maybe an A. Maybe it's a C because it's got these certain ingredients in it. And so I know a lot of times we get overwhelmed with so many products, we don't know which one to go to. But I feel that it's a good way to just kind of make a way to see which ones are healthier. But we probably shouldn't go with the labels, right, Justin? What should we actually do at the grocery store, maybe? What is the suggestion you have?
So a common rule of thumb that I always like to stick with is shop the perimeter of the grocery store, because that's where your produce is. Then you go along, that's where your meats are. That's where your eggs are. That's where all of your natural foods are. Another little thing that I also want to give you as a friendly reminder is about 95 to 99% of the time, if it has a food label or an ingredients list, probably with the exception of like your eggs and some of your milks, stuff like that. If it has a food label on it, most likely it's not food, because if you can't say the product that's on the ingredients list or on the label, then you probably shouldn't be eating it, because it's probably some kind of preservative. Really, what I recommend to my clients and what I've recommended in the past is stick with your spices, your salsas, stick with your coffee, and then obviously your household toiletries whenever you go down when you go down the aisles, as a rule of thumb. Also, I said oils by accident. So your cooking oils, like your olive oils, you can also go down the aisles for as well. But stick with that for a general. But if you want to treat yourself and reward yourself overall, don't deprive yourself of a guilty pleasure snack that you don't have. Just keep in mind that that's normally the general rule of thumb when it comes to nutrition.
Excellent. 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 That was actually really good. Awesome. Matter of fact, with that being said, I was like, let's jump on to like the next question. How can you stick with those goals? I know that we touched a little bit. Everyone had a little commentary onto those, but how can we stick to any of the goals that we make with regards to fitness? Would you like to start, Dr. Short?
Sure. I think it helps if you have a buddy, for sure. Definitely with an exercise plan. If you are constantly going by yourself, you kind of feel tired one day, you don't really want to go. But if you have that accountability partner to help you along the way, that keeps you motivated, and, days that you're tired, they're pushing you to go, and then you can push them on other days. And like Madi said about these SMART goals, it is something that a lot of times people make goals. They say, I want to be healthier. I want to, drink more water. Well, you've got to make it, again, more specific, more measurable. That way, if you're really meeting your goal. And also telling people what your goal is, because I think a lot of times we make these goals and, oh, it doesn't matter. I didn't tell anybody, so it doesn't matter if I complete it or not. But really making it something that it's a priority for you, and making it to where others are watching and wanting to be the example for others to follow in setting that example. And so you really do want to think about what are some goals that you really could stick with, and not some extreme, like I'm going to lose 100 pounds, but let's like make small progressive goals, and over time, making those changes rather than all at once. And so, like I said too, one goal a week is the ideal, rather than making these, huge, I'm going to cut out all sugar, I'm going to cut out all, everything bad, and go into these extremes, which doesn't stick. And Justin, I think one time you had said something in regards to setting the example, which I thought was so good of, as a parent, thinking about your kids.
Just with regards to like the accountability aspect of it, just with like having a buddy and everything, there's actually an article I read probably about a year ago, but this is also just anecdotal from about 5 years or so in the fitness industry. Is a lot of the memberships at the big box gyms, like your LA Fitnesses, things like that, are starting to decline because of the fact that studios, CrossFit boxes, and like specialty class studios are starting to come up on the rise. And the reason being for that is accountability and community. People want to not just go work out to work out. A lot of people want to go work out to hang out with their friends. And that's honestly the best way to go about it, because you have that accountability whenever you do fall off, and you have some people that, if you haven't shown up to your Orange Theory class, your CrossFit class for the last week, you've probably got your coach, you've probably got at least 3 other people texting you like, hey, is everything okay? What happened? Where are you? So you have a whole community of a good quality of, you not only are you working on your fitness, but you also have a good quality of life. You're working on a community of, really good friends that are helping you with your journey as well. So that's what I highly recommend. And now if you're introverted, I'm not telling you to go away from your normal routine or anything like that, but that is definitely one great way when it comes to staying with an exercise program that's really been effective, not just from my own personal experiences, but overall. I mean, we've got research that shows us this as well.
Marty, what do you think about how sticking with goals? Did you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say also thinking like how you're exercising. So maybe some of you guys are like, oh, I hate cardio, or I hate doing this. Like making sure like a way to stick to your goals is actually doing something that you enjoy to do. So if it's just like you don't want to run, if it's just walking around, like Justin was saying, he said it before, but you're walking around your neighborhood while you're taking meetings, because we're working at home now. So things like this can improve your life. It's not like you have to go to the gym and have to do the treadmill for 30 minutes or all this stuff. Yes, it is like important to include, but don't think like every day you have to wake up and I have to do this at the gym, I have to do this. Definitely like living a healthy lifestyle will help you meet your goals by doing things you enjoy.
And also what is also helpful, I think, is tracking like your steps. I know that people kind of go through phases of looking at their watch, and at least getting 10,000 steps a day. The minimum health benefits of exercise is 5 days a week, 30 minutes of moderate activity. So you don't have to be running like she said, but find something that you enjoy. And, something that I've gotten into is also listening to books on my phone, or, a podcast. It could be something that you enjoy, music, so that you can go out on a walk and just kind of think of it as a benefit and an escape, rather than, oh, I have to do this. But again, thinking about the example, maybe if you're a parent, or to the other people around you, that you're setting that example of making exercise part of your daily routine. I know for me, it's something that I have to include in my everyday. It's like brushing your teeth. It's something that you do every day, hopefully. And to make it something that you do enjoy, and it's something that you look forward to rather than dread, because, right, like we've been saying, if you dread it, you're not going to want to do it. and it's just going to be so much more of a challenge. So, get creative, find a friend, find something you enjoy, find music, find, a good book that you can listen to on your phone, and try to find it as a good thing in your life.
I also think that it's important to even try something new. Like maybe we were talking about how girls maybe get scared to lift because they think they're going to get big, but it's not really the case because we don't have a lot of testosterone in us. But it isn't like it's good for us to go out and maybe do some weightlifting because the more muscle that we have is actually the more calories we'll burn. So like as I'm sitting here right now, since I lifted yesterday, I'm burning more muscles because I'm burning more calories because I have more muscles. So that could be something to think of too.
Good.
Something to kind of piggyback off of what Madi said with regards to like lifting. I actually saw a meme about this on Instagram the other day, and it's the perfect analogy of women who say that they shouldn't be lifting weights because they're worried about getting bulky. Well, it's like saying, I don't want to drive this new car because I'm worried about becoming a NASCAR driver. The likely chances of that happening is going to be pretty slim to none. I mean, you have to be on a very, very strict diet, very, very strict workout plan in order for that to happen. And yeah, just like Madi said, just with regards to the amount of testosterone, that's one big myth in the fitness industry that I've had to come to battles with for years.
Very good.
Exactly. To add a little bit of my take on it, recently, like there was, like I said, Corona. I was a gym fan and then couldn't go to the gym, so I had to stay home, got a little lazy. That's what happens, right? Due to it, I felt myself just not feeling as well. I was like, I wasn't eating the same, I wasn't working out, and like it affected me as a woman, like let's say every month, it was bothering me, if you will. Once I got back in the gym, I definitely started feeling better. I felt more naturally like clean, like in myself. So working out working out and eating better, have to put them both together because I was eating a lot of like red meats and stuff. Not that you shouldn't, but I was like, girl, I was good steaks. But yeah, eating a lot better and working out 100% helped me a lot. Particularly now, like I used to run all the time. I no longer run consistently, so having a workout here or there, that's the move. That's the move. With that being said, let's keep on moving. Let's keep on going on. What about an exercise plan? About being specific and how do you stick to an exercise plan? Or what does a good nutrition look like?
So, Sonny, you brought up a really good point when it comes to COVID, because I really want to address something. I want to address the point of life is always going to get in the way, and there are always going to be factors and variables that are outside of our control. When it comes to sticking with an exercise plan, own your mistakes and move on. I mean, when it comes to, I didn't make it to the gym today because, I had to work a 12-hour shift today, and I did, something else came up in my personal life and I just couldn't find the time to make it in today. That's okay. You know what? Go home and crush dinner. Go home and make this a great recovery day. Make sure that you're still hitting your hydration goal of your 8 glasses of water a day. Another rule of thumb is half your body weight in ounces at the very least. And then go have a great meal where don't go pig out on fast food or frozen pizza or anything like that. Go either cook yourself a great meal with protein, veggies, really good carbs, something that you can treat yourself with. Or even go get a healthy. I mean, if you have to do takeout because you don't feel like cooking, get something really healthy at somewhere like Chipotle or Zoe's Kitchen. There's a lot of great healthy options with regards to that. When it comes to sticking with an exercise plan, I'm going to echo what Dr. Short said about finding an activity that you really like. I really enjoy lifting weights. So get a smart goal when it comes to that. So I want to increase my deadlift max, and I want to get back to where I was before COVID happened and they shut down the gyms and I stopped lifting. I have one of my really good friends who I work with who really got into running, and he wants to do, I think he said 150 miles in the month of January. So that keeps you going. And that's what really helps you out, is going back to those SMART goals, finding what you really enjoy, and just keep moving.
And also, I would want to add to that, I think a lot of times people, like women, typically think cardio, and men usually think weight training, and that there's the people that do their yoga and that's all they do. It is really important to make sure that you're getting a combination of all that. You want to make sure that you are getting that cardiovascular, but you also need to be doing at least 2 days of weight training in some way. I know that can be a challenge sometimes when you're not going to the gym, and I've even heard it's even hard to find weights at the store. And so sometimes we have to kind of make do with what we have at home. It could be, getting soup cans, or to getting a bag of dog food, or a jug of water, getting creative in that way if you can't find weights. But they do have different programs that you can follow on TV. You can get videos, and there's Beachbody that have a lot of different videos you can do. And so if you're not sure where to start, you could always seek out and reach out to me or one of the other professionals that are in that position to help you with a workout plan, maybe even meeting with a personal trainer to talk about that plan. But it is something that we need to think about, how to include all of that, and not just one over the other. And again, slowly progress, maybe adding one thing at a time, and then trying to have that balance in your life.
Wanting to stick to our exercise plans. I know, like with my mom, and this is like her third time starting her fitness journey, and she's really stuck to it this time, because what she struggled with in the past is that she did something and then she got super sore the next day, and she just didn't want to work out the next day, and it didn't work out for her. So when Dr. Short was saying progressively overload, you have to know like where your limits are, because if you go out and just smash it and then you come home and you can't move, you're not going to want to work out the next day. So you really can't stick to that exercise plan. So, reaching out to a professional too, so you can figure out like what's going to be good for you and what your goals are.
Yeah. Good.
Excellent. Okay. Alrighty. Like something that might seem like borrowing, the way I think of it is, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but something that you can do is, like, I know we spent a lot of time, or I know personally, I spend a lot of time on my phone, on social media. There's some people that you can get inspiration from that literally, let's say, put their workouts online. This way you don't have to really even go into entirely too much detail. Find someone that you feel comfortable with, that you like their material, and they'll probably keep reposting their workouts and exercises, and you can just basically mimic those. And when I say basically, of course, don't do anything crazy and then like go hurt yourself. I was like, whatever the exercise, then look it up, figure it out. If you're at a gym, you can probably find an attendant or something to help you with it. In this way, again, if it's too hard to find out what exercises, you're like, I don't know what to do for back day, you could probably just hashtag that sucker real quick, get on TikTok, get on Instagram, get on YouTube, and they'll literally just give it to you, and then boom, write that down or put it on your phone, and then you have an exercise plan, and you had someone else make it for you for free. It's always important. But yeah, anybody else want to add anything on that, or do we have any questions with regards to that?
No, just going off of what Dr. Short said about the 2 days a week of strength training. Another big experience that I've had just as a personal trainer in the past is you're going to stick to your goals a lot more if you have a program like what you were saying, Sunny, versus just individual workouts where you're just fishing on Instagram every day or every single day. But you have a good 4, 8, 12-week program. So that way you don't even have to think about it, but you already have it planned out every time that you go to the gym. So that way, so a really great example, that I've always recommended with clients is 2 to 3 days a week of strength training, at least about 2 to 3 days a week of cardio, and then, you know, at least one active recovery day. Active recovery day is literally just moving, and that could be that day that, you know, where life happens, life gets in the way, you couldn't make it to the gym that day. So you go for a good 30, 45, 60-minute walk. Go walk your dog. You have a bike, go for a bike ride. Something that just keeps you active and keeps you moving, because the biggest thing with exercise is don't always want you to think of it just as being exercise, but you want to keep moving throughout the day.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. All righty. Again, let's move on throughout this conversation here. How about if we talk about what does good nutrition look like? Or did we already touch on, like, fairly, did we touch on that pretty much kind of heavily? Quick, Dr. Short.
Do we have any questions in regards to healthy eating? You know, for me, what has helped me is to make sure that I'm really trying to get, you know, those vegetables in my diet. And, you know, there's a lot of, like you said, look online for workout plans. There's a lot of meal plans to follow. But I think the thing is really trying to get a variety, again, making sure you're getting fruits and vegetables. And again, like I said, what's helped for me is I eat every 3 hours. I eat a small meal, and I have it planned out of typical meals that I'm going to eat. And I really am trying to find ways to, again, find the fruits and vegetables and getting more of the carbohydrates around when I'm working out, when my exercise is, because I know people have a fear of carbs a lot of times. And so really trying to get those fruits more so around the workouts, but not eating a big meal right before you work out. Obviously, we can't work out as efficiently and we start feeling sick. So so for me, I have breakfast. Another 3 hours later, I have a small snack. I try to get protein in the diet. I'm really trying to find ways of, getting the lean proteins of, like, maybe Greek yogurt, or I have boiled eggs, eating, lean turkey meat, lean chicken. Trying to find things that, try to keep you satisfied, because if you think about it, the protein is going to be really what keeps you more satisfied. If you compare a roll to a chicken breast that might have the same amount of calories, the roll's not going to, you're going to want something else with that. That doesn't really keep you satisfied. But the chicken breast is something that will fill you up and keep you going for a little bit longer. And it also takes more calories to break down. And so when you're looking for things to eat that will keep you satisfied, I also think about things that are nutrient dense, which means that it has lower calories. You can eat more of it too, like a whole thing of, broccoli. You can eat a ton of it before it adds up to those extra, calories. And so it's going to be making you feel like you're not deprived because you're able to eat a larger amount. And so trying to get all those nutrients and thinking about what is really healthy. And again, going back to the MyFitnessPal to see what those nutrients are that you're maybe missing, and looking and researching on your own to see what are things that you maybe should include in your diet with that.
I think with regards to nutrition, the last thing I just want to add on to that is just when it comes to breakfast. We've been told for so long breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It's become an industry where there are a lot of refined carbohydrates and sugars. So you've got your pastries, you've got your fast food restaurants that are making a fortune off of what they have to offer. You've got even your sugary refined cereals. That's just become a big industry. So going off of what Dr. Short has said is, finding those nutrient dense foods that, especially for breakfast, which is the most important meal of the day, finding those nutrient dense foods to include, especially in your breakfast. you're having good protein, good healthy fats, you're having maybe some vegetables or fruits like in like some kind of omelet or something like that. That's really the way that you definitely want to go, is those nutrient dense foods. Do you have anything to add on to that, Madiel, Dr. Short, Sunny?
You hit it on the head, really. You just stole the words right out my mouth. I was like,
Sorry.
no. I was like, you know what you're doing. This is your job. You got it. You know what's up. All righty. Okay. And to move on just a little bit here, what are some other factors to consider with regards to overall physical health? Because it's not just exercise and food. What do you think, Dr. Short?
Well, I mean, definitely we need to think about, there's 7 main components of wellness in regards to thinking about, physical health is what we're talking about today. But when we look at stress, I know that can play a big part on how we eat and how, we go about our day. And so to think about the stress in your life and what are some things that are causing you stress, and trying to find ways to navigate around that, and maybe talking about it. But I know that exercise is a great way to deal with that extra stress that we have a lot of times. Also drinking water, making sure, we've talked about this before, but for me to always have my bottle of water with me everywhere I go, it really does, it's a habit now. It's something that I go to that when I want something, to eat, instead of going to eat, I go and drink water. Also, when you drink water, it fills you up so that you don't eat as much. And so what I would encourage you to do is maybe drink water first thing in the morning. It helps flush you out. And so first thing, drink some water. I would also drink a big glass of water right before a meal. Your body, your stomach can only hold about a gallon of food. And so it's, when you fill it up with that water, it takes more space up so that you can't put extra food in there. And so it does help to where you're not eating as much. Also, a lot of times when, we're hungry, it's actually we're thirsty. And so making sure that you're drinking that water, and, instead of maybe going to eat, grab something to eat. And I know for me, sparkling water is something that I really enjoy without the added sugars and without the added sweetener. And it fills me up to where I don't want to eat as much. And so just be thinking about what are some of those things. Also, sleep. I know when you're not getting enough sleep, you actually have hormones that are produced that make you hungrier. And so when we're on a schedule of not getting as much sleep, we probably drink more coffee, which we add more sugar and cream and all that kind of stuff. You're up more, so you're going to eat more, but it also releases hormones where you want to eat more. And so it probably also causes stress. So it's just a balance of all that, thinking about how, all those things come into play and how they work together. And so just, I know this is a lot of information. So again, one step at a time, and, finding one of those things to work on, and trying to progress with that. Do y'all have anything to add with that, Justin or Madi?
Madi, did you have anything?
Yeah, I was just gonna say also, like, when thinking about being healthy and overall, just really listen to your body, like know what you can do and can't do. And, like also with food, like if you really don't like something, don't force yourself to eat it. Just really like listen to your body and your mind, and it will make you like happier to be doing that, to make you healthy. Because if you're doing something that's miserable, you're just not gonna stick to it. And the whole point of today was to make sure that you guys are sticking to long-term goals. And you can do it. My grandpa is 71 and he's still running 11 miles every Sunday. So it is possible.
Dang.
Inspiration.
Real.
Okay.
That's great.
Just going off of like what Dr. Short said about sleep. One thing that I would highly recommend is, so there's being able to fall asleep, which some people have a problem with that, but then a lot of people don't. The problem is staying asleep. So when it comes to getting good high quality sleep, where you're actually hitting those REM cycles, You know, it's little things like turning off the TV an hour or two before bed and reading a book, or getting some blue light glasses if you have work that you have to catch up on, if you have emails to send, if you have anything like that. Another big one is putting your phone away from you so that you don't have the urge to get on social media or answer any texts. And then, you know, put that phone away like an hour before bed. So that way, because all that blue light that your eyes sense, that your body senses, that's telling you, I mean, blue light's from the sun. So that's basically telling your brain, that's telling your body that it's still daylight outside. So that's really, it's not helping your nervous system to fully shut down and relax like it needs to.
Alrighty, that was excellent information there. Okie dokie. I'd like to open up the floor just in case anybody has anything to say, but I think what we're gonna do is actually kind of start wrapping it up here. I want to say thank you to all the panelists. Justin, that was fantastic. Dr. Short, it's so fantastic to see you. Mariela, it's an absolute pleasure. Women's soccer, we out here. Go ahead, Yankees. I think that this was excellent. I'm actually really excited about these panelist events, as I can't wait for the next one. Thank you to everyone that showed up today. Thank you for coming. Like I said, the next event should probably be around February. So please make sure that you check your emails and look out for that. Any final words from the rest of the panel?
No, if there's any questions. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
I was just going to say, y'all can do it. If you have those goals, I just want to encourage you. Positive self-talk, you got this. So I just say, you go and challenge yourself and make yourself better. And again, think about that car that you want to have for your entire life. And think about, too, the quality of life that you really want to get out. And I've heard a quote, too, that said, you know, it's either hard to go exercise and eat healthy, but it's also hard to eat bad, you know, to feel bad, where you feel tired and you feel sluggish and you feel fat, and you just want to change. So it's choose your hard. And what I would say is choose the hard, maybe, of getting into that healthy routine. Once you get started, it's a lot easier, I promise. The hard part is getting started and then making it not too hard to where it's something you can stick with, but you can do it. Stick with it.
Honestly, results. Good luck. Keep it going. All righty, well, everybody have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.